Okay, hey everybody, my name is Da Vinci from Your Life After 25, and I'm really excited to speak with you all about better sleep. A couple months back, if you had been paying attention to the site, we were doing a sleep series, a better sleep series, and if you know me, you know that I'm a recovering insomniac, but after sleeping on my deep healing sleep bed, I've been getting better nights of sleep. We're really fortunate to be joined by Shawn Clark of intelliBED today, and he's going to give us a lot of insight and really good inside information on how intelliBED is made and how it helps us get better sleep. So we're really lucky today. Would you like to say hi, Shawn?
Hi, Da Vinci. Glad to be here. And as you just stated, my company for the last 18 years has focused on how we can help people sleep better. Not because we make a mattress, but because there's so many people in the United States right now who are having sleep problems. And so we've worked with the leading sleep doctors and medical practitioners and tens of thousands of people who are having trouble sleeping. And we've learned so much about why there's an epidemic today in the sleep area and what people can do to sleep better. So, really happy to be here today with you.
Thank you for joining me. You know, as I said, I'm a recovering insomniac. I've actually been dealing with sleep issues from probably the age of 10. So that's over 15 years. We'll say I'm in my life after 25 for sure. But it's really funny because I think with all of the noise and technology and everything that we have going on, it's almost making it harder for us as people to get better sleep or to find ways to sleep. So we have to take it right back to the basics on a better mattress, correct?
That's right, Da Vinci. And what we found is that the mattress industry basically has experimented with the American public for years, telling them that they can sleep better if they spend more money on some of these materials, mattresses made from new materials. And unfortunately, many of these things are actually causing people to have sleep issues. The other thing we've learned is that there's a natural healer in each of our in our brain, and it is actually unleashed during sleep at stage 3 and 4, deep healing sleep. And unless you're sleeping on the right kind of sleep surface and in the right conditions, you just aren't able to get that type of sleep. And so many people are sleeping 7 or 8 hours, but they're really walking around sleep deprived. And we'll talk more about that. But your situation with insomnia is not that unusual, and I'm sure you've had to fight and figure out what to do about it over the years to to get as productive and healthy as you are.
Yeah, and I think that everybody almost has to go through their own sleep journey, is what I've found, is because we all have different lifestyles, we all have um, different jobs, you know what I mean? So we're all finding the best way to kind of put ourselves on a good sleep schedule
How
and
right?
figure out what works best for us, especially because, yeah, I mean, now we have DVR, we have all kinds of things, so everything's at our fingertips, and we're all creating our own schedules. So now it's all about how do you schedule sleep into your schedule and make sure that you can get a good night of rest.
No, and you're so right, and you'd be surprised to learn that sleep isn't even taught in any of the medical schools today. Even in chiropractic school, it's not taught how you support the body when you lay down. We're told to sit up straight and stand up straight to relieve the pressure on our lower spine. But yet, when you lay down horizontal, uh, doctors can't tell you the right way that you should be supported. And so it is a private journey, but we're going to share things today with your audience that is going to open people's eyes about how they can sleep better and the role that the proper sleep surface can play in that. So great to be here.
I'm really excited about that. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of things that I can learn from you today also, and hopefully it'll make me get even more sleep because I definitely need it. Um, so a little bit about my journey and as a recovering insomniac. It's so funny because, like I said, when you're 10 years old, you go out, you still get a chance to go play and all those things. But I think for me, my issue has always been my brain constantly working and feeling like I'm going to miss something. So for that long, I just had such a hard time sleeping. The other thing I noticed was I hadn't actually had my own mattress. Like I'd always had hand-me-down mattresses for so long that it was probably contributing to my lack of good sleep. So when I got the opportunity to try out my deep healing sleep bed, I was really excited to try that out. It was like a birthday present for myself last year, so it's been a very good journey of sleep for me from that time till now. And I kid you not, when I actually tried it, the first day that they delivered it to my house, I said I was going to take a nap. I think it was supposed to be an hour or two. I didn't wake up for 4 to 6 hours later. So that's a bit of a testament to how good my deep healing sleep bed was for me. I do want to ask you, Shawn, as we talk about sleep and mattresses and things like that, what sparked your passion to want to give people better sleep?
Da Vinci, I had worked previously as a consultant with one of the leading sleep mattress companies, Tempur-Pedic Sealy. So I understood the industry and that basically all the manufacturers were using the same materials, primarily synthetic foams, to make mattresses. And so it was people were basically buying it in a retail store, and the salesperson and the salesperson's ability to convince the person was the key element. And then I met my partner, and he had the rights to exclusive rights to a material used in hospitals where a copolymer gel, which is basically made of baby oil, was being used in hospitals to cure burn patients and bed sores. And it was just an incredible cushioning material. And I saw the opportunity. He had the right to use it in mattresses in the home market in the US and Canada. And so he and I collaborated and we developed the company that today is known as intelliBED. And our goal was to develop a mattress for people who couldn't sleep on regular mattresses at all. And basically, it was causing those people to die because without sleep, we die. It's just like oxygen and water. Sleep is one of the necessary three things that are required to prolong our life. So it was kind of a journey of a labor of love to help people sleep better, thinking that that would be a nice thing for me to do at the end, tail end of my business career. So 18 years later, here we are.
Well, you're definitely, obviously being very effective in helping us get better sleep with IntelliBed. As we can see from this slide, we're just touching on a few points of how lack of sleep can affect your body. As you said, sleep is where our bodies recover. And, nowadays, like I said, because we're constantly ripping and running, we're wondering why our immune systems aren't getting that chance to heal us properly. And part of that is from lack of sleep. Another thing I wanted to point out for our fellow lifers is, ladies, it is so true we need more sleep than men, probably because men drive us crazy. No, I'm just kidding. We like you, Shawn.
Thank,
But we do need more sleep than men, apparently. So there is something to saying get your beauty rest. Um, as you can see, the more you sleep, the more you improve memory function. And this was so true for me because I started wondering why I couldn't remember anything. And who knew it's because I just wasn't sleeping enough. And of course, who wants dark circles under your eyes? It's not attractive. we're trying to avoid them. Instead of having to spend so much money on beauty creams, just get more sleep and you can avoid those dark circles.
And Da Vinci,
So those are just a few ways.
we work with one of the leading sleep experts in the United States, and later I'm going to share with you there's some very important medical reasons why what you just said is true, and what happens in our brain function when we get the right kind of sleep.
Yeah, I can imagine just how it'll increase your memory function and brain activity. So I'm definitely excited to hear a lot more about that later on in this webinar. And let's talk about, how your diet can affect your sleep. It's so funny, just the little things here and there that we don't realize that we're doing that affect us later on in our night. Eating sugars, that can definitely, if you're eating sugar too late at night, that's going to affect how you sleep. Alcohol, steaks, fermented and aged foods, spicy foods. Um, these are all ways that you could be affecting your sleep, and these are things that could be causing you to toss and turn at night. So you definitely want to watch your diet, and if you've been having a hard time sleeping, keep up with that. Maybe put together a food diary and see if that can help you keep track of what's keeping you from sleeping properly at night. Did you guys discuss any of this as far as diet and how that affects sleep, Shawn?
We did, Da Vinci, and this is important stuff, but it's really it's the things that most people kind of know about. Um, and what we did with the doctors is that we worked with was to get down to the second layer of information about sleep and why we sleep in the first place, and then what's happens at the different stages of sleep, and what is keeping people, like yourself, you are an insomniac, so you had trouble falling asleep. But there's other types of sleep conditions where people sleep for a while and then wake up. And what we found was in the research, there are 70 million people today. 70 million, think about that. That is a lot of people who wake up in the morning with sleep related pain, which means that there's something happening to them while they're in bed that is causing their hips or shoulders or some part of their body to become painful to the point where it wakes them up
Mm.
eventually. And so there's a lot of things going on that we'll talk about that we found out over the years, but we had to talk to multiple different types of professionals to piece this puzzle together.
That's actually something that I experienced myself. When I finally could get to sleep, there were often times that I would wake up with a lot of pain in my sides each morning. So, you try so hard to get to sleep, and then when you finally get there, it wasn't a restful sleep, and you woke up in pain, and that's just not a good feeling.
Yeah,
So I definitely want to hear more about that.
you had the 1-2 of bad sleep. you know?
I know. I know.
You had
Sleep was just not, it wasn't finding me in a good way.
no chance. But we'll explain why you're sleeping better now that you have one of our telebeds.
Honestly, I can say that the IntelliBED has changed my life, sleep-wise, because as I am getting older, and it is something that I didn't want to have to deal with for the rest of my life. I mean, who wants to say they haven't had good sleep almost their whole life? So this has really been a changing point for me. I had so many family members who I called family members in England, all over the world, and I was telling them, I'm like, oh my goodness, I feel like I'm not going to be as productive. I hate to say that because I always use my insomnia as an excuse to work even more. And now I'm forced, like I'm getting sleep from my IntelliBED, so I'm like, oh, I'm not going to work as much, and that's, coming from a workaholic. So that's a little bit of humor there.
Good.
But as we can see here, here are some ways that you can help yourself get more consistent sleep and just some rules for you to keep up with. Um, no caffeine in the evening. So if you're a coffee drinker or a tea drinker, I'm English. I always drink tea every single day, whether it's summertime, wintertime, I'm drinking tea. So I did have to eliminate caffeine or caffeinated tea at night because I like to drink a cup of tea before bed sometimes. Eliminating alcohol. I know it's been said that it's good to have a glass of wine each day, but if you can eliminate the alcohol or limit it to a half a glass of wine with dinner, then that's going to be better for your sleep habits. Staying active. I did notice that when I worked out more consistently, it was a little bit easier to try to get to sleep. So staying active is really important. Working out, if you can work out when you get back from work or before you go to bed, that's another really good way to keep yourself that you're like prepared for bed. Work out, take a shower, and settle. Try to turn off your TV if you can. That'll help you. And then make sure you're getting enough vitamins, minerals, and things like magnesium. So these are some good rules to keep in mind for helping you get better sleep. And of course, getting yourself an intelliBED, which we're going to talk about a bit of a promotion and deal that we have coming for our lifers later on.
Da Vinci, we like to work through people like yourself to get the message out about sleep and our product because there's just so much that's misunderstood, and we really need reputable people who do the research properly, like yourself, who then sleep on our product and would only help us get this word out if it worked for them. And that's the way our company operates. We work through about 1,500 doctors across the U.S. right now and work with their patients. But we're really pleased to present this information about that we've learned about the mattress industry and the role the mattress plays in deep healing sleep. So, without further ado, we had to first set the standard and work with different kinds of professionals. What should a mattress do? And the first thing it needs to do, it has to provide proper posture. If it doesn't push the hips up into alignment with the shoulders, then it allows the spine to sag all night. And that's why water beds at one time were the major fad. But then after people slept on them for 5 or 6 years, they realized that they actually were causing bad backs. So the first thing a mattress has to do, it has to push your hips up into proper alignment. And the second thing it has to do, it has to relieve pressure. Uh, Pressure is what causes us to toss and turn or not to be able to sleep or to wake up with that kind of pain like you were talking about. That was a pressure issue. The third thing it should do is be made of healthy materials. Now that seems like that's just you know common sense. But I'm going to share with you what we found about mattresses today and what they're made of, and this will kind of be shocking and to you and I think to your audience. Um, we looked at the major mattress companies, and there's really only four in the United States that make about 90% of the mattresses sold. But they do it under a whole bunch of different brand names so that the consumer cannot compare products or pricing. And so there's Serta, Sealy, Tempur-Pedic. There's a company called Select Comfort, which is the air number bed, but they all are using foam, synthetic foams for cushioning. Um, 40 years ago, mattresses were made of cotton and steel springs and were really a very good product. They would last 20 years or so, and they were safe to sleep on. And the springs provided good support for the back. But today, that's been replaced with synthetic foams instead of cotton. And therein lies most of the problem with today's mattress products. It doesn't matter how much you spend for a mattress. The support layer can be springs or foam, and then there's all kinds of different foams. There's memory foam. There's memory foam with a little gel in it. There's polyurethane foam. Uh, there's There's egg crate foam. Essentially, these foams were developed, after World War II days, back in the days of plastics. And then NASA looked at memory foam, but never used it in the space capsule because it was too toxic. But it's been used in mattresses since then. So we kind of look at it that these
Wow.
foam products are like using a typewriter or a rotary phone today. They're so out fashioned and outdated, but almost everybody's sleeping on them. And that's as we developed our product for people who couldn't sleep on regular mattresses, we also saw that there was an epidemic in almost everyone today between the ages of 20 and 50 is having trouble sleeping. It's like 3 out of 4 people. And
Wow.
unfortunately, and I don't know if you've had this experience, but do you have some friends that are like in their 80s? If and if
um, Not friends, but I might have some readers
some of
that
my
are
friends
in their
do,
80s.
well, I talk to people of all ages, and when I talk to people in their 80s, they do not have sleep problems. They sleep great. But when I talk to people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, they almost all have sleep problems. And so one of the things we found is you don't get
Yeah.
to be 80 if you're not sleeping well. It's a sad but
Huh.
very true
It's a
state.
catch-22.
It is a catch 20, and in working with some of these sleep specialists, I'll be able to explain to you why that occurs. But first off, let's look at the problem with foam. You know,
I do have a question for you.
yeah,
Yeah, as you discussed foam, I know you're going to get into it because I'm like, okay, and I want to make sure that our readers understand this. I know you're saying that there's different kinds of foam. There is foam in the intelliBED too, correct?
we use a little bit of foam in ours, but we do not use it in the sleep surface that people sleep in.
Okay,
What we do
gotcha.
instead is,
Okay. So
yeah,
that's what I wanted to
explain
know.
that. Yeah, and I'll explain that in just a minute, and that's a great point because we've been able to, as we did the analysis of foams, we found out that there were certain issues, and one was that they changed as you use them. They wear like the tires do on your car, and so they would change in the first couple of years about 25% on average. And there's industry tests to show that. So you could have a bed that would work great for a year or two, and then it's a totally different bed in year three. The other thing that was happening with if you didn't push the hips up into alignment, it's just like this lady here where she's walking crooked. And that's why so many people wake up and they have back pain or stiffness or numbness, or like you did, where you actually could feel some pain in your shoulder. So,
Yeah.
and
That
so,
looks like me for a while. I had to get adjustments done.
yeah. And what happens is the way our body is shaped and formed, we carry more of our weight in our hip area than we do in our shoulder area. And so the hips are trying to push down into a mattress or sleep surface deeper. Gravity pulls our hips down because we weigh more there. And so you need something like springs in a mattress for proper posture. And that's why water beds didn't work. That's why today the Sleep Number is an air bed. It can't push your hips up, and a foam bed can't. Um, the other thing we found is, and this is where we worked with the leading sleep doctor, is that when you move during sleep, there are 4 stages of sleep, and then there's REM, which is rapid eye movement. That's where you dream and so forth. But in the normal stages of sleep, stage 3 and 4 is when your brain is actually activated and sends out through your bloodstream nutrients that nourish and repair your body. And that's why they call it deep healing sleep. But it happens during this stage of sleep, which is stage 3 and 4. Now, Da Vinci, what most people don't realize, and even the doctors we worked with didn't realize, is every time you move in sleep, you go back to level 1 to do it because it's our central nervous system is set up to relieve pressure before it starts to kill um, the skin level in circulation. When we cut off circulation for 5 minutes to the skin, it starts to die. And that's why people who have spinal cord injuries develop bed sores, because there's nothing through their spinal cord that can tell their central nervous system to move. And so people think
Right.
it's normal. Most people toss and turn 20 to 40 times a night, but yet they don't realize that when they do that, they're interrupting their deep healing sleep cycle. So the quality of sleep is more important than the quantity of sleep. That's a very key finding that we found out. And what happens with foam is it, as you lay down on it, it compresses and it gets hard under your hip and shoulder area. And that's what causes the pain, but it also causes us to move. So these foam mattresses encourage tossing and turning rather than deal with it. Then the other thing that we found out, and this has become very much more prevalent in the last 10 years, is the toxicity level of some of these foams. The cheaper ones are made from polyurethane, which is at the low end of the oil and gas spectrum. And the government also requires a fire retardant put in every mattress that's sold in the United States. And we've seen studies that link SIDS, for instance, to toxic nerve gas released by the materials used in baby mattresses.
Right.
You would just be shocked at some of the medical research that's linking the materials used commonly in today's mattresses with all kinds of sleep conditions like autoimmune disease, ADD, ADHD. Our brain and our respiratory system is basically stuck in the mattress for 7 hours a night or so for an adult, and up to 17 hours if we're a baby or young child. So this is a very serious concern that's coming to light these days, and you're going to hear more and more about it in the press. As one of the major mattress companies right now is in a class action suit in California for having formaldehyde in their mattress, and that's Tempur-Pedic, the leading memory
Wow.
foam company. So this is becoming a serious issue as we're trying to track down why so many people are suffering from all these disease states that we didn't even know about 50 years ago. So essentially, what happens with
That's
foam is it
crazy.
off gases. And if you buy a new mattress, especially one like a memory foam mattress, they tell you to air it out for 3 or 4 nights before you even sleep on it to get rid of the smell. But as the material breaks down with use, it still is released and can get to you. So I don't want to scare everybody, but what we were able to do is
Right. And
we went in the hospital industry, like I say, and we found IntelliGel. IntelliGel is made of baby oil, and we make it in our own factory. These mattresses in hospitals cost $15,000, and we knew if we were going to make the best mattress in the universe, we couldn't sell $15,000 mattresses. No one could afford it. So we bring the baby oil in, we make it, turn it into the gel in our factory. We make the mattresses completely in house, cut out all the middlemen, and so we're selling the mattress now
that's so cool.
for yeah, like you know, 3,000 to $4,000. That it's just incredible. It solves all the problems. And I'll go through and explain how we do that. This is a picture of the gel. You can see it's in a honeycomb pattern. It relaxes under pressure like
Mhm.
that hand is. It's the same material that's used in Dr. Scholl's foot pads. Their gel foot pads are made with IntelliGel.
Who knew that you could get baby gel
In that,
or baby oil to do all of that? Who knew that you could take it there?
we had to invent the manufacturing process. It's really interesting because the gel, when you use it, number one, the way it works, you can see here, it's smart. It has the ability to relax under a pressure point and sink in just deep enough. It relieves the pressure, so we get 80% less tossing and turning than any other cushioning material. But it also lets the hips and the shoulders maintain proper alignment, so we get a very nice level spine. We redistribute weight. Now, this is medical
Okay.
pressure mapping, where we took the same person and we had them lay down on different kinds of mattresses. And you can see under the intelliBED with our intelligel, we go from blue to light blue. That person can sleep all night in that same position. Under the sleep number, which is the airbed, Tempur-Pedic, which is memory foam, or innerspring, which is the regular mattress technology, you see those red points? The red points under the hip and shoulder will
Yeah.
mean that person has to move every 5 minutes, or they will start to cut the circulation off to the skin level, and the skin will start to die. And so, while you're sleeping, your brain is interrupted and told you to move. Um, and as you'll see with our company, we've done everything in a way that's all research driven and very fair. This is the same person, the same sleep position on the different things, and then this is a medical reading conducted by doctors um, to help us understand how well we relieve our pressure. That's why it's so comfortable. The other thing with IntelliGel, it is so safe that it's approved for use in baby bottle nipples. A baby can actually bite and swallow
Okay.
a piece
Wow.
of it without it hurting the baby. That's why it's used in hospitals where infection is the major uh,
Okay.
cause
Wow.
of.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah. So, and all of us have to put some kind of a fire blocker to
I
prove.
do have a question for you
Yeah,
about,
absolutely. Go ahead.
yeah, about the pressure points. Can you go back to that slide for me?
Uh huh.
I was thinking about the research that was done
Right.
based on the pressure points and that person being able to stay in that same position. Did the research show that people were able to dream better also because
Yeah.
they were having the more continuous sleep?
Yeah. What it did, we also had another piece of research. That's a great question. Where we worked with a doctor who spent 7 years at Stanford Research Labs, where they basically invented sleep research. And he put a Tempur-Pedic, a sleep number, and an IntelliBED in his sleep clinic for 2 years, and had patients spend the night there when they're wired to show their sleep quality. And what he found was that
Hmm.
the IntelliBED promoted deep healing level, stage 3 and 4 sleep, much more effectively than these other types. Now, what happens when you, in the stages of sleep, where you dream is called REM, that's rapid eye movement. Your body is actually paralyzed. The only thing that can move in your body during REM is your eyelids, and that's why they call it rapid eye movement. And it's a coping mechanism, and our body is actually paralyzed because otherwise you act out these dreams or nightmares, and you might be hurting yourself or
Hmm.
whoever you're sleeping with. So REM sleep occurs at the
That
end
makes a lot of
of
sense.
level 3 and 4 sleep. So people who take sleeping pills, for instance, or their sleep is constantly interrupted by tossing and turning, they do not get into REM sleep the way they need to. And that's another reason why they don't perform well, because their brain, they haven't had an opportunity to act out these issues that their subconscious mind has. So all this stuff, it's fascinating when you work with these type of
Right.
doctors, because you realize we have a natural heal in our body and it's in our brain, but it's released at night when we sleep if we get to the right level and quality of sleep. So the government
That's amazing.
makes all of us use a something in our mattresses in case it's set on fire to put it out. The least expensive way to do this is to spray it with chemicals like boric acid, etc. Those are known carcinogens. The government doesn't care about that. They just make us as mattress manufacturers prove that our mattress will self extinguish itself. So we have a burn test. We set our mattress on fire. and it has to be put itself out within 30 seconds. Um,
Well, okay.
every mattress sold
That's
in
you didn't
America,
think about those things
Da
for
Vinci,
mattresses.
can you believe this? And the manufacturers do not have to tell the consumer what they use to pass this test. It's almost diabolical.
Wow.
What we use a silica thread, that's glass, and we coat it with polyester uh,
Okay.
cloth and turn it into a sock. It's very expensive, but it allows us to pass that test. It doesn't off gas, so it doesn't emit any of these toxic gases. As you mentioned, we do use a little bit of foam in our bed. What the foam we do use is very high quality. It's certified pure, doesn't have any of these fire retardants in it. It's completely inert, meaning it doesn't off gas any of these known bad materials. The only place where we use it in the rim of the bed, where the first 6 inches where a person sits down. And we have to do that because that's where when you sit down on the side of your bed to put on your shoes or whatever, that puts the most pressure. And that's where beds break down and lose their ability
Right.
to last. Um, we also use it below our gel on some of our beds to increase cushioning. For instance, we have a model for people who like a very soft bed, who have fibromyalgia, arthritis, or just some people like to sleep in just the softest bed possible. And we have a version that will give them adequate back support, but we use an organic latex foam under our gel in that bed. But in our sleep surface, where the people are sleeping, we use IntelliGel in a 2.5 inch layer of it, and we do tests to look at the
Okay.
emissions. Um, they call it the VOCs, the off gassing. And we actually, when you compare our bed, sleeping on our bed, it's about half the level of emissions that you would get when you walk outside your house or in your living room. So we go out of our way to provide as safe a surface as we can from that 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 off gassing issue. Um,
So it's basically your. I mean, the intelliBED is safe enough to put your baby on and have them to sleep on it as well as ourselves.
And in fact, we actually have a crib mattress that is entirely IntelliGel and organic cotton that goes in the crib. We have a kid's mattress in a twin and a full size that again has no foam in it whatsoever. Those two products, we have eliminated all of the synthetic foam from them, and it's because children spend so much of their time in bed, and the size of those products, we can deliver a very good product without using any foam whatsoever, even in the side of the bed. Uh, the way we sell our product is through people like yourself and on recommendations from doctors. We think that going into a mattress store and laying down for half an hour on mattresses and having a salesperson tell you how great they are is the wrong way to buy a
Mm-hmm.
bed. It's too important a product. You really need to sleep on it for a couple of weeks in your own home. Make sure it's supporting your body properly, that you can adjust to it properly. Our technology, we're helping people sleep properly for the first time in 10 or 15 years. And so we deliver the bed in the home, set it up. We have a 60-day money back guarantee. If people can't adjust to the bed properly, we give them their money back. Come pick up the bed. We think that's the smart way. This is too important a decision to leave to some well-dressed, fast-talking salesperson who really doesn't know what's in these products. I can tell you, Da Vinci, that these salespeople, they do not know what the beds are made out of that they're selling. They don't know how to answer these questions. If your readers
Right.
call on the some of these companies I'm talking about and start asking them questions about what do they use for their fire retardant and can you explain the off gassing and what their situation is, they will hang up on them. They won't address these issues. So
Yeah.
so what we do instead is we try to present the
Yeah,
fact.
because they're taught to sell.
They're taught to sell, and they're commissioned salespeople. It's just like in the used car
Yeah,
business
yeah.
before Carfax came along. You know, this is a great car and 9,000 miles and it's beautiful. Of course, it was underwater 5 months ago in New Orleans when the flood happened. You know, but that's you know, who knew, right? So
That's terrible. No.
I'm
Oh,
serious.
I do. Okay, so I do have a question for you, and I'm going to put you on the spot just a little bit. Okay, so because our readers are 25 and older, this is an adult audience. I'm sure they're going to want to know, have the IntelliBEDs been tested for intercourse?
Well, we've in our company we
Like, do they get tested in that way also?
no, we don't get tested, but everybody we've been doing this for 18 years and have sold over 100,000 beds. We follow up with all the people, and they continue to have children.
Right.
They love having sex. You know, these people they're better rested.
Okay,
What happens with
see,
our
there you go. These are real questions.
and they're important questions, and but what they do is when you improve the quality of your life and you become more active, more productive.
Right.
Everything is better, and so yeah, the whole sex situation is not interrupted whatsoever. What is does change, and this our biggest complaint is people don't want to travel anymore. You really, when you sleep on an IntelliBed, it's weight, and I think you can, remember back to when the first couple nights you slept on it. It's a different feeling. You don't feel like you're anchored into the bed.
Mhm.
You almost feel like you're floating on the surface of the bed. The way the gel works is it redistributes.
It's like laying on pillows
Uh huh. And
or clouds is what I would tell people.
it
Like being on clouds.
it feels like you're sleeping on a cloud. And what happens is once you get
Yeah.
used to that feeling and you realize you can sleep for 4 or 5 hours and you feel totally rested and refreshed, when you travel, you miss it. I don't care how good of a hotel you're in. That's the biggest complaint we get from our audience is that they just don't like to travel near as much as they used to because they miss sleeping on their IntelliBed at home. That sounds really funny, but that is the truth.
No, that's actually true.
Yeah, we're all
It's true.
about
I
the truth.
can say that myself.
Yeah,
I miss my bed.
you do. And I
Yeah, I
personally
miss my
only sleep
IntelliBed.
about
Yes, I
five
did.
hours a night, and I feel totally rested, and I don't need a nap the next day at all. It's because I'm getting the deep healing level sleep I need, and I'm getting totally. My brain is able to rejuvenate and to repair any damages that was done to my body during my daily living. So, but yeah,
There you
you'll
go.
you'll enjoy your life more, and I think your audience will find the sex is fabulous.
See, there you go. And they want to know that. I know lifers from your life after 25, they like to know all of what they're getting. So, from what we're hearing, you get better sleep and better sex with IntelliBed.
It's been true for me, and
It's
I've
a
been doing
selling
this
point, guys.
for 18 years. So it's,
There you go. Oh my goodness. Well, this has been so informative.
yeah, you'll get
I am
great sleep while you
excited to be
practice.
able to share this information with our lifers, and we're excited to be able to offer them a 10% discount um, off of their IntelliBed purchase with the code after25. We're also going to be doing a limited time promotion for anyone who runs out and grabs their IntelliBed soon. You have the option between a set of bamboo sheets and two IntelliPillows, which are valued at $500, or you'd be able to choose a $250 Amazon gift card. Be on the lookout on your Life After 25 for that promotion coming soon. So that's really exciting. Shawn, you have been such a pleasure. can I ask you for 4 last better sleep tips that you can leave our lifers with?
I think just to realize the impact, number one, that your sleep surface is going to play on the quality of your sleep. So if people can start getting that level 3 and 4 sleep, they will be amazed at how much it can improve their life, their performance, and the ability. And the other thing that what I've learned is it's not the amount of time you spend sleeping, it's really the quality of your sleep. And so if people can go from 7 hours of poor sleep to 5 hours of great sleep, like I have, that's 2 extra hours a day that they can be spending doing something meaningful with their life. And so, that's what I'd like to contribute here at the end. I've had a great time talking with you, Da Vinci, and I'm really pleased that you're experiencing the quality of sleep. That's the reason we developed our company and our products was to help people like you sleep better. You there? Okay. Okay. I think we got it. Got it.
All right. Shawn, I got a, Da Vinci, can you hear us?
I think we lost her right.
I think we lost her, right? We lost her. Um, yeah, her microphone does not look on.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it ended okay. I think that was a nice wrap up, though.
I think we got what we
I
need.
think we got what we need.
Hey,
Okay. Oh, you're
hi,
back.
everybody. I'm
Everybody, I'm
sorry. Like right
sorry.
at the
Like
end, we
right
had
at
a
the end, we
network
had a
issue
network
that just
issue
dropped.
that just dropped. Oh my goodness.
Oh
Oh
no.
no. We were just saying though, Da Vinci, I think it
Yeah.
got what we needed, and there was actually a nice empty space for Jason to be able to shut off as needed. So I think we're good.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
Sorry about
Sorry
that.
about that.
That was
That
fun.
was fun.
yeah, you did a great
Yeah, you did a
job.
great
Thanks
job.
so much. It was great talking to you.
Great talking to you.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. All right. So
Thank
Da
you so
Vinci,
much. It
thank
was
you
a
so much. It was a
pleasure.
pleasure. Great. Da Vinci, I will be